launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs, and we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Monday, March 28th, 2022. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. For all the Akeem Williams fans out there wondering about when the next time we're going to see him on stage, I've got some bad news for you, because it doesn't look like that's going to be anytime soon. Recently, there was some buzz floating around Akeem potentially jumping into something like the New York Pro later in the spring. But during a recent interview, Akeem said that he didn't have plans to step on stage anytime soon, which means that in all likelihood, we probably won't see him compete until sometime later in the summer at a show maybe like the Chicago or Tampa. But as we've seen time and time again, when Akeem's at his best, he's one of the top 10 athletes in bodybuilding. And if he's going to use these next few months to work himself back into mid-season form, he'll be a threat to bring home a win, regardless of what he decides to do. We have a Breon Ansley story coming up on the show tomorrow that you'll definitely want to tune in for. But for now, I think we should all take some time to appreciate how absurd these black and white photos of Ramon Dino are. Even though there was a lot of back and forth we heard from various people in the industry about where he would place heading into the Arnold, I think the performance he put on there actually exceeded everyone's expectations. And I'm not just talking about his placing. By going shot for shot with Terrence Ruffin, he showed that he's more than capable of holding his own against Ruffin or Chris or any of the other top athletes in the division. And the fact that he's still just getting started almost makes it even more impressive. He's absolutely the real deal. And it's going to be fun to see how he and the rest of that group trade shots in the division over the next few years. And since we're already talking about classic physique, this felt like a good time to slip in this new update from Logan Franklin that we've been sitting on. A few days ago, Logan posted this clip of himself posing alongside IFBB Hall of Famer Lee Labrada that generated a lot of attention because of the amount of size that he's carrying. To a certain extent, not competing at the Olympia or the Arnold might end up being a blessing in disguise, because it seems like having an extended off-season is just what the doctor ordered, because it's given him even more time to add the size and density that he needs to compete with the Ramones, the Terrence Ruffins, and the Chris Bumsteads. So if he's got the size and he can figure out the conditioning, he's become one of the most interesting pieces to factor into the top 5 puzzle later on this year. Right now, I think you can make a good argument for this being the most competitive time in the history of fitness. And your reigning and defending Fitness International champ, Ariel Kadar, is the big part of the reason why. If you followed her prep leading into the show, you couldn't help but notice how much work she'd put into her physique since the end of last season. And if anything, it seems like winning this title has only added more fuel to the fire. The margin for error in this division is so slim that it almost has a force multiplier effect on all the athletes, because it just keeps forcing them to raise the bar higher and higher. But if Ariel stays locked in like she has been all season long, she's going to deserve some serious consideration as an early favorite once we start getting closer to Olympia territory. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.